Welcome everybody! It's Right back with you two ready to the latest pro wrestling news and results as part of the Saturday Nights! Wow, baby! Let's go! It's another one of the wrestling rants on a Monday. We're talking MEGARANT Monday coming on down the road right here at Wrestling Rants. So, MEGARANT Monday, Death Before Dishonor, Ring of Honor's pay-per-view from Friday night, a couple days ago, and I have to say, I was very impressed with this pay-per-view. Initially, going into it, didn't really know what to think about this one, but did I come out of it definitely feeling like, wow, this was something. Before we get into that, let's just talk about a little bit of rewinding from the weekend. I did not get a chance to watch either Impact or actually the Ring of Honor TV preceding this pay-per-view, as I watched this late Friday into Saturday. And yeah, there's just so much wrestling with the inclusion of Collision and the New Japan G1 Climax I'm trying to keep up with and everything. It's hard to fit everything in, so this week I skipped Impact against Ring of Honor. Still gonna catch up on the shows next week, so we'll talk about them in a kind of extended version of Versus next week before I go to Chicago for Impact 2 nights this coming weekend. So we'll backtrack with Versus from the previous week as well as this Thursday, probably late Thursday night, right here for Versus Ring of Honor versus Impact. So be looking for that, as well as didn't get the chance to do a laying the rant down this weekend. So that means tonight, after this MEGARANT drops, we are doing a little laying the rant down, as we got a lot of random news to talk about in WWE, AEW. Even as of this evening, some interesting news dropped in the world of wrestling we'll talk about, as well as lineups for AAA, an all-in update, as well as a G1 update in a jam-packed laying the rant down to make up for missing on this weekend. We're going to be laying it down right after this MEGARANT. Right here, Wrestling Rants. All right, let's get into it. Death Before Dishonor 23. Trenton, New Jersey was the location. They were around the vicinity for a Collision as well. I think they were in Newark. So pretty much right around the corner. And this was a pretty good crowd from the Lure Auto Insurance Arena, or here, I don't know where. I've never heard this outfit, but that was the arena that Ring of Honor was from. The 20th Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor event. So this has a lot of history in Ring of Honor. The 20th Death Before Dishonor. Wow, and what a big event it ended up being. Second event, Death Before Dishonor wise, under the AEW banner as well. And I think this certainly was better than last year's. And last year's lineup was pretty damn good as well. So very much a surprise on this show. Like I said from the outset, I did not expect going into this show with the way they basically didn't set up the lineup until just a few days before the show, that there was going to be much going for this show. But as it were, this pay-per-view was really damn good, and maybe was the best Ring of Honor pay-per-view that, under the AEW banner at least, that's occurred. So some other quick numbers on the whole show before we get into the matches. 2,500 people or so were at the Lure Auto Insurance Arena, but that is a big mouthful for that arena. As of the day of, before the event, 24,005 tickets were sold according to WrestleTix. They may have gotten some walk-up, very well possible. I would not have been shocked if that is the case here. So I would say maybe 2,500 or so, but the fans were really into it. A much heightened crowd for this pay-per-view. They were into just about everything. A few things of note for sure. New champions were crowned in Aussie Open. Mark Davis returned from injury, and this was his first match back with Kyle Fletcher, and they got to go in a nice, real nice, a damn excellent, as a matter of fact, four-way match to get the Ring of Honor Tag Championships. I think that's a good move. All our champions retained. Shibata retained over Daniel Garcia in a really good match. Also, Claudio Castagnoli did retain over Pac. That match was booked from Double or Nothing, or not Double or Nothing, Blood and Guts. And as it were, the match ended up being fucking awesome. This was the third iteration for Claudio's opponents for this pay-per-view. Originally, it was going to be Eddie Kingston, who went on to G1, as we know, so that went out. Mark Briscoe was penciled in. He was nagging injuries underneath that he was really not talking about until they ran some tests on him, so he got taken out. And then we got to Pac. Just like I said, coming right off of Blood and Guts, but lack of promotion ahead of time or not, still was a very solid world title match. And then, very historic night in Ring of Honor as well, the first women's championship match to headline a pay-per-view was on Death Before Dishonor here, where Athena and Willow Nightingale tore the house down in one hell of a main event. This was definitely a must-see main event, just all around. What a match. We'll get into it in a moment, but very, very, I guess, historic reign for Athena at this point. Now over 225 days of a title reign for her. 32-0 in Ring of Honor title matches. In particular, she lost that match to Athena on Rampage just a week after last. That's really been it for Athena and any losses that I know of in AEW or Ring of Honor particularly, where she is undefeated. So she continued with the win over Willow. I tell you, I thought a title switch was coming up here. All indications felt like that in the match itself, but that said, I think this was one of those matches where it was a win-win, and Willow has been battling some injuries, so I think she might take some time off now, but she's really been in the mix with the New Japan Strong Championship, winning the Owen Hart tournament last week, and then now in a huge big-time match with Athena that they both look like $1 million coming out of this match. No question about it. Just some other notes quick before we get into the results. The media scrum was pretty interesting. You had Claudio out there pretty much in character. We also had Katsuyori Shibata out there using a translator, which was kind of interesting. And then Athena pretty much broke character and really laid the groundwork for how she felt about the Ring of Honor's women's division, how she felt about the match she had, the homages in the match itself, that main event with Willow and Athena, where they were dropping off finishers left and right from former Ring of Honor competitors like Mischief, Daisy Hayes, etc. So just a pretty interesting media scrum. Tony Khan took some questions afterwards. Didn't really get into too much of the business, but the pay-per-view buys looked promising from the Honor Club side, that they were getting some orders that way. Didn't know much of anything else besides that, the Bleacher Report stuff, etc. But I'm sure that probably, given the fact that the build for this show was next to nil, this may have taken a little bit of a hit in the buy rates on streaming and things like that. Time will tell. But then again, they may have gotten an increase in some after the live pay-per-view buys, after hearing good word of mouth about how the in-ring was on this pay-per-view. And that's what I took out of it too, was that this felt like an old school Ring of Honor pay-per-view where the in-ring was the, like, that's what Ring of Honor used to be known for more than anything, was high-end in-ring matches. The matches themselves really strong And I think we're at a point with the Ring of Honor where, at least with the pay-per-views, and I mean likewise for the AEW pay-per-views, that is to the nth degree with the in-ring. So this was no exception here. Great in-ring here for Death Before Dishonor. Let's get into the 0 hour, this is the hour-long pre-show, which actually had a couple matches that, frankly, I thought should have been on the pay-per-view. They were that damn good. Really strong stuff for the pre-show, no doubt. Opening up was a Pure Rules match. Jerry Lynn, Christopher Daniels, and Jimmy Jacobs were judges for this, as well as the Pure title match later on in the pay-per-view. Interesting to know Jimmy Jacobs involved here. I bet he is being involved with Ring of Honor Creative. Seeing some slight differences in the Ring of Honor TV product a little bit that may have everything to do with Jimmy Jacobs. So we get the Pure Rules match to kick off the pay-per-view on the pre-show. Josh Woods over Tracy Williams, 8 minutes 40 seconds. Basically, domination by Woods is being set up to take on Shibata. It's looking like in the future here. And like I said, pretty much dominated Williams. Lots of good technical stuff in here. They were going at a pretty fast pace, too. Kind of physical for sure. Tracy Williams can go in that catch-can style. And basically, the gist of this match was Josh Woods got the ability to get the rope breaks from Tracy Williams, so he had no rope breaks anymore pretty quickly in this match, about 5 or 6 minutes. And then putting on a guillotine choke, Tracy Williams was in the ropes. He couldn't do the break because he didn't have any more. With the Pure Rules, you get 3 rope breaks, and that's it. So took advantage of the rules. Josh Woods wins. In a 3-star match, I said, pretty decent opening match here, no doubt. Match 2 was, I felt like, really impressed me for a pre-show match. Darius Martin and Action Andretti over the Workhorsemen. In about 7.5 minutes, I went 3 1/4 stars. Just all out action. These guys were trying to do moves that you're really not even seeing much of. Trying to almost invent moves on the spot. It felt like this was good stuff. Martin and Andretti went over with a Wiley Bird neck breaker off like a torture rack. Martin kind of twisted him around and basically got that net breaker spot on, and that was it for this one. Like I said, 3 1/4 stars, 7 minutes 22 seconds to be specific. The low point of both the pre-show and the pay-per-view was match 3, Layla Hirsch over Trish Adora. I don't know what is up. I don't like Trish Adora, but to me, Layla Hirsch is just so vanilla in the ring. Her in-ring is not as strong as it used to be coming off of this injury she has. I don't know about this. We'll see where they go with Layla Hirsch. But 9 minutes, 13 seconds. I went 2.5 stars. I just did not care for this match. The pace of this match kind of got me. It was just tedious. Hirsch won with a cross-arm breaker. It was what it was. Waiting to beat down on Trish Adora after the match, and that brought out Sky Blue, who apparently is probably in Ring of Honor going to work a match with Layla Hirsch coming up. Then match 4 of the pre-show was probably the best match of the pre-show, and once again, a match that really should have been on the pay-per-view. This was AR Fox over Shane Taylor in a 10-minute, 21-second match. I went 3.5 stars. Man, they were going. Shane Taylor was making a great base for AR Fox's wild spots, including an inverted shooting star press salt to the floor. Really impressive stuff. Shane Taylor had some good near falls near the end, too, where it looked like Taylor was probably going to win this. Kind of salty about the way they looked. Shane Taylor, I think he should have took on Samoa Joe on this pay-per-view, not Dalton Castle. We'll get into that in a second. But again, Shane Taylor brought it in this match with AR Fox. AR Fox did win with the 450. But yeah, pretty much kind of setting up AR Fox on Dynamite, taking on Orange Cassidy for the Atlantic Championship. So I see where the finish came from, but I think you all need to give Shane Taylor something here. Come on. He was looking good. what can you say? I still want to see Joe and Shane Taylor. We'll see if we get there. But that was it from the pre-show. Then we get into the actual pay-per-view of Death Before Dishonor. Kicking off with Gravity, the brother of Bandito. He was in one match from the Orlando tapings for Ring of Honor TV, gosh, quite a while ago. He's brought him back in here. He's going to take on Pac on Dynamite on Wednesday as well. He was in this match with Commander, and damn did this kick off the pay-per-view with a bang. I went 3.5 stars on this one. Just all out, 110% lucha action here. Top rope hurricanrana by Commander, and then Commander went for the pin, and Gravity got him in a cradle for the win. Gravity wins over Commander. 3.5 stars, 10 minutes and 5 seconds of ring time. TV title is next. Samoa Joe over Dalton Castle. Like I said, I feel like Shane Taylor should have been in this match. Castle was okay in this bout. I went 2 3/4 stars here, but it was just kind of there in the same level. 14 minutes and 13 seconds. It's a little bit too long for my liking. Story of this show, this match, was Stokely Hathaway getting involved with this thing with Joe, where Joe's trying to intimidate Stokely. Stokely's trying to impress Joe on a level. I don't know. It's kind of a weird deal, but whatever the case, chokeout happened after a low blow after Stokely Hathaway kind of distracted the ref. And that was about it. The boys also got taken out by Stokely Hathaway, who made some sort of edit at ringside to do that. It's just kind of a weird book match. I feel it was a little overbooked in a sense. And I just didn't feel the whole Dalton Castle and Joe vibe just couldn't kick it into a second gear in this match. However, the third match made up for that. This was the tag title 4-way match. Aussie Open over Best Friends, the Kingdom and the Lucha Brothers in 17 minutes and 1 second. Just a fantastic pace. So many high spots I lost count. So many highlights. Just flowed really well. There's something continuing on with Best Friends and Lucha Brothers, which was very evident in this match. I went 3 3/4 stars on this one. Trent got pinned after the double team finish by Aussie Open, and that was it. Good to see Aussie Open back and right in the mix as the new ROH Tag Champions. Then we got a promo in the back of the Righteousness to Grayson, just previewing the upcoming fight without honor. That was, whoa, hello. That match was something too. 6-man titles were next. It was hard to follow up from that really hot 4-way tag, but I thought they did a pretty good job here at 3 1/4 stars, 12 minutes, 20 seconds. The Mobile Embassy of Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony went over Leon Ruffin, and then in from New Japan, Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Waddle. I gotta say, this was a solid match. They knew that the crowd was gonna be probably a little tired after that tag title match, but they just said, let's just go and let's kick it into a gear, and they sure did. This was a very solid match. Leo Ruffin got thrown in the air by all 3 members of the Mobile Embassy for the win. But Taguchi looked great in there. Master Waddle continues to slowly but surely impress me. I feel like New Japan's kind of dropped the ball with him from the Super Juniors tournament, where he was looking so great in there, and then just zero follow through after he didn't beat Hiromu. So that's a shame, but solid match here. See if they use Taguchi and Waddle in future ROH stuff coming up ahead here. Pure Title was next. This was great. Katsuyori Shibata over Daniel Garcia. 14 minutes, 36 seconds. I went 3.5 stars on this one. I just thought everything really was a nice pace in this match. They were getting kind of near where the time limit was here. I think 20-minute time limit for this Pure Title match, if I recall. Put me on that, but they're getting closer. We're getting about 5 minutes left in the, and things were getting a little more desperate on each guy's end. They're trying to finish the match. And Daniel Garcia was trying to sports entertain himself in the middle of all this madness too. Shibata had none of that. PK for the win. Finally, after the sleeper, after the match, Shibata basically forces Garcia to show respect, where he grabs his hand and actually puts him over a little bit in the outset too. So, and even in the press conference in the scrum afterwards, Shibata put over Daniel Garcia here, and no question about it. He can go from a technical standpoint. This was a nice match. Probably one of the best Shibata matches so far since he's been back in the States for Ring of Honor. Then we got an Aussie Open promo in the back. Like I said, you take champions. And then we move on to the fight without honor. Woo, boy, this was something. Dark Order went over the Righteous and Stu Grayson in a way more wilder match than I expected this would happen. There was barbed wire involved. There was lots of blood. There was all kinds of wild shit in this match. Tacks, Legos, bumps after bumps going on. It was a triple team in the Tacks and Legos from Stu Grayson. It doesn't appear that Evil Uno was probably going to the Righteous. I feel like this may have been blown off in the feud even. Guess time will tell, but this was something else. Everybody worked really hard here, taking wild bumps. There was like a table bump within maybe the first minute of the match. It was just like, from the bell on, go in this match. And really kind of shocked people a little bit in some of the spots here. And like I said, I thought everybody looked really great. John Silver had a kick pad that was covered in thumbtacks as well. And just it's a lot of highlights from this match. Really stood out. I went, like I said, 3.5 stars, 15 minutes, 42 seconds. Then we get the world title matches next for the co-main event. First thing with the guys, Ring of Honor World Title. Claudio over Pac in 18 minutes and 38 seconds. I went a solid 4.25 stars on this one. Oh man, there was a spot where Claudio gorilla slammed Pac into the table on the floor, and just spot. The ending was pretty wild, where it looked like Pac had the brutalizer on Claudio from like a fireman's carry position. Just excellent stuff here. There was an attempt at a Rocola bomb from the top rope, with the top reversed into a Hurricane Rana. Neither unit came out to distract, and then we got basically the distraction finish, which was a bit of a letdown in this match. Unit distracts as the pace was really going here. This finish. Unit distracts. Claudio takes advantage of it and gets the Rocola bomb for the win and retaining that Ring of Honor World Championship. Then we got the main event. Oh, by the way, there was a lot of other hijinks after this match. The Lucha Brothers came out to get into it with Best Friends, who were out in just a bunch of madness. Orange Cassidy came out, so I'm wondering if maybe they're setting up Orange Cassidy and Claudio maybe as the next big program in Ring of Honor. I don't know. Time will tell. Women's title next. Like I said in the outset, an absolute classic. And the first Ring of Honor women's title match to headline a pay-per-view. Both of these women should be proud of their work. Athena went over Willow with a crossface in a highly competitive match with awesome near falls. Both of them threw their finish on each other to no avail. Just a ton of great psychology-based action in this match, and just the match just kept building. It got more physical. The crowd just into everything in this match. And afterwards as well, respect was given as the pay-per-view signed off by Athena to Willow. And then it's kind of funny, the pay-per-view signed off, but you could still hear what was going on. And clearly, Athena did turn on Willow after the respect was given and the pay-per-view signed off. But I went 4.5 stars on this match. This was really worth checking out. The best match that these two have had in their trilogy, and I hope to see it in another trilogy in AEW when both of these gals rekindle this feud, hopefully once eventually Athena goes up to AEW. I would guess sooner or later it's got to happen. But what a pay-per-view. I tell you, for little to no promotion ahead of time, this was freaking awesome. I will go in a B plus to A minus range, but this was definitely one of the best Ring of Honor, if not the best Ring of Honor pay-per-view they've done since Tony Khan bought the company. And they've been pretty solid pay-per-views across the board since last year. So that's kind of saying a lot here. All right, laying the red down. Coming up next, folks, Wrestling.